you'll see so you don't run over her because the video's running.
Okay.
Wait till I get it.
So we talked about, we had a couple of points. Let's say point C has coordinates -3, 1, and D has coordinates 4, 7. This would mean find the distance between them, and this means find their midpoint. All right, so here we go. Maybe without even looking at your notes, do you remember how to find the distance from C to D? Not for the distance, for the midpoint. For the midpoint we add, right? We add and divide by 2. Please remember, midpoint is average. Everybody in this room knows how to find an average. If you can remember midpoint is average, you'll have no issue. So, if I'm going to average, we'll do this one first since we're talking about it. If I'm going to average, I add and divide by 2. So -3 plus 4 divided by 2. 1 plus 7 divided by 2. There's your midpoint. That's all there is to it. Everybody good? Now distance. Who remembers how that works?
Like square root
is a big radical.
x2 minus x1.
So I'm just going to subtract my x's. I wrote the formula out the other day, I think, and if I didn't, I don't even care because you just subtract the x's and square that. So -3 minus 4 squared plus 1 minus 7 squared. And does it matter if, see, I took C minus D. Could I have done D minus C? Yes, it makes no difference because you're going to square the answer, so it doesn't matter what order you subtracted because the negative will disappear. All right, so -3 minus 4 is -7 squared. 1 minus 7 is squared. And now, let's see, adding those up, I get 85. I don't think 85 reduces, but let's try it just to make sure. 5 goes into 85 17 times, so we can't reduce that. So the square root of 85 is your answer. Okay? Everybody good? Everybody remember all that? Okay, vocabulary. Anybody know what this is called? Well, sometimes we refer to it as the XY plane, but it has an actual name. Impress me. Who knows? The Cartesian coordinate plane. And of course, one of your colleagues this morning said, do we have to remember that word? Yes, you do. Because there'll come a time when we won't be having X and Y as our variables. We're going to switch into a different system. So you need to know that the word Cartesian, when you hear the word Cartesian, it always means X and Y. As opposed to the polar coordinate system, for example, whose variables are R and theta. That's what I mean. You have a different set of variables. Cartesian, X and Y. What's this point called? Well, it's not, it kind of is the midpoint of an infinite setup here, but it has a name. Center, that's a great idea, but no, we call it the origin. Peeps, the origin. You've heard that before, right? That's called the origin. What are these 4 sections called? The word 4 is kind of a hint. These 4 sections are called quadrants. And we label the quadrants so that we can talk about them. And we label them with Roman numerals. This is quadrant 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here's 4. So if I were to say to you, in which quadrant is a point whose x is negative and whose y is positive? In which quadrant? You would say that's quadrant 2. Exactly. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now let's talk about I'm taking this one right out of your book. This is number 19 on page 20. If you don't have a book, look on somebody or something. The question says, I have 3 points. This is page 20, number 19. I have 3 points, and my job is to find the area and the perimeter of the figure formed when I join those 3 points. Okay, so do you understand the concept here? We've got 3 points, we're going to plot them, connect them, we're going to get a shape. Obviously, if there are 3 points, what shape are we going to get? Triangle. Triangle. And our job is to find the perimeter and the area of the triangle. All right, seems like we should be able to do that. Let's see, 0, -1. You know what, and just for, to keep it more organized, I'm going to go ahead and label these points. So I'll call them CHS, and I'll label them. So here's point H, and C is, my drawings are never that great, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get a feeling for what it looks like. Okay. Need area and perimeter. Anybody have any ideas? Any thoughts on that? Rachel? Do you have an idea?
No.
Oh, what's perimeter mean?
The outside.
Yeah, the distance around the triangle.
Yep.
So if you knew that this side were 10 and this side were 12 and this side were 8, you would be able to find the perimeter easily, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what those are, so maybe my first step will be to do what? Use the distance formula and find them. That's exactly right. So I'm going to have to do this 3 times. So I tell you what, we're going to kind of share the labor. So I want this pod over here, you guys. I want you to find CS. You guys in the middle here, you find SH. And you guys over here find CH. And I'll stand here and do nothing and wait for you to finish up. You already do it? Shout it out when you get one.
31, or square root of 31.
Square root of 31 is SH. Confirmation, somebody else has to get square root of 31 before we count it right.
Square root of 41.
41?
Oh yeah, she's right.
Should it be 41?
Yeah. We calculated it now.
Since we have a little confusion there, will somebody confirm that? Somebody else in the middle there?
Yes,
41, okay. You guys over there got one? What is it? Square root of 82. And you guys? What'd you get?
Square root of 41.
Square root of 41. So, not only do we have a triangle, but we have an isosceles triangle, don't we? The perimeter of our triangle will be root 41 plus root 41 plus root 82. So I think I'll write that as 2 root 41s plus root 82. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Now, area. Now I gotta find the area of that. One of the coolest things about Precal is by the end of the year, you're gonna have about 7 ways to do that, find the area. But right now, you probably only have one. What's the way you find the area of a triangle?
Base.
1/2 base times height. So area is 1/2 base times height. Now this is what makes this problem a little bit tricky. You really have to have your eyes open. You're looking at that thinking, base and height, where am I going to get a base and height out of there? Well, let's look at this side. What happens if we square this side? What do we get if we square that side? We get 41. What do we get if we square this side? 41. What do we get if we square that side? Now, does 41 plus 41 equal 82? This is the Pythagorean Theorem. Side A squared plus side B squared equals side C squared. And if the Pythagorean Theorem works, what kind of triangle do we have? A right triangle. This is the hypotenuse, the long one. So where's my base? Right here. Where's my height? Right here. These are the perpendicular sides. So my area is going to be 1/2 root 41 times root 41, base and height. What's my area then? What are these two times each other?
41.
So it's 41/2. Now, we are going to get to this after lunch, but this is a perfect problem, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in and do it now. We could also have discovered that that's a right angle. Do you have a thought on another way? How else might I determine if that's a right angle? By using the slopes? How do we find the slope of CH? CH. Do you remember? M is the letter for slope. M is the slope letter. That would be something good to research. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what it is. What is the slope of CH? This is line CH. Who knows how to find the slope? Who can remember? We haven't talked about it yet.
Is it like y minus y and then you have,
Over
oh, yeah.
what?
Oh, it's over. Is it over something?
Slope is.
I thought it was equal.
You're thinking about maybe the slope-intercept form of a line or something like that, or the point-slope form of a line. This is the actual slope itself. So you said y minus y over.
Is it x minus x?
It is x minus x. So for slope, and again, the subscripts don't matter. I did 2 minus 1, you could do 1 minus 2. However, with slope, you've got to go the same direction with both letters because you're not squaring. So you've got to keep the negatives and the positives separate. So if you do y2 minus y1, you've got to do x2 minus x1. If you do y1 minus y2, that's fine, but then you have to do x1 minus x2. So what is the slope of CH? CH, the slope would be 3 minus -1 over -5 minus 0. I got -4/5, but I could have made a mistake. Double check that for me. Is that right? Now I want the slope of SH. So SH will be -1 minus 4 over 0 minus 4. I got +5/4. Check my arithmetic.
Would that be a -5
This
Oh, it
would
is
be a
negative.
-5, but
Okay.
it's over a negative 4.
So like pot, yeah.
Yeah, so they cancel, yes. Now you're just dying to get to lunch. I can see it in your faces. You have no idea why I'm up here blabbing on about slope. What does this tell me?
Oh, up.
It tells me, see, one was -4/5 and one was 5/4.
So are they reciprocals?
They are opposite reciprocals. And when two lines have opposite reciprocal slope, what is true of those two lines? They are perpendicular. They are perpendicular. Now, that was extra work. I already knew they were perpendicular. How did I figure that out originally? Pythagorean Theorem. Instead of doing this, if I remembered, I could have done this, right? And why did it matter to me that I had perpendicular? Because I needed a base and a height, right? If you're going to find the area of a triangle, you need a base and a height. All right, any questions about that? I'm going to have to erase it here to get the next thing going.
Are we gonna do an example of one that's not an isosceles triangle?
Well, the fact that it's isosceles is really not the key here. The fact that it's right was essential. And no, at this point, you need a right triangle to find the area. So if I give you one, it will be right. Okay, until we learn how to find the altitude, which we will, but not right at this moment. All right, next step then. I'm gonna do one more thing and then I'm gonna stop and we'll do a quick review. Because when we come back from lunch, we're gonna have a little quizzy. Okay. Does anybody know what this is? Does anybody have any idea what that is the equation of? Oh, she's in the right ballpark. She says it's one of the, and she's snapping her fingers, it's one of the like ellipse. This is not an ellipse. Actually, it is a very special ellipse. It is a circle. This is the equation of a circle. Okay? Now, we are not right now doing the chapter on the conic sections, but we will. At that time, I won't do circles as a separate day because we're doing them right now. They are the easiest conic section. They come straight from the distance formula. If I put a radical over this, doesn't that look a lot like the distance formula? Yeah, it comes straight from the distance formula. The only thing you need to know about circles is what is their center and what is their radius. Now you did this last year. Can you tell me what the center of this circle is? Michael?
Isn't it 1 -3?
It is actually the opposite of that. It's -1, +3. You will learn, and this is one of those things that I'll kill you if you just memorize it, but it's an observation that we make. Whenever we have parentheses, we always choose the opposite of the number. Every time. Happens every time. Even like if it's an absolute value, not actual parentheses, even if it's an absolute value, it's the opposite of the number always. So our center is at -1, +3. Now, anybody remember what the radius of this circle would be? The square root of 17. Let's go back to the distance. This would be the distance right there. That's root 17. All right, one more quick one. And a little tricky. What's my center? -5, comma, 0. Very good. We didn't add or subtract anything. That means we didn't move our circle around up and down. You just left it right there. And what's my radius? Perfect. Now, work it backwards for me. What if I told you the center was let's pick some different numbers. What if I told you the center was 5, -7, and the radius was 4? Could you write the equation of that circle? What would be the equation of that circle? X minus 5 squared, y plus 7 squared. Good. That's it. That's the equation of the circle. Now, anytime I say to you, write the equation of the circle, what information do you have to have? If I say write the equation of the circle, what information did you need to do this? You needed to know the center and you needed to know the radius. Now, if I don't give you the center and the radius, you're going to have to find that, right? So here's an example of what I mean. Write the equation of the circle. Whose diameter, there's a vocabulary word, whose diameter has endpoints -2, 5, and 4, 7. Now, again, I did not give you the center and the radius. I gave you the endpoints of a diameter. Remember what a diameter is? It's the chord that goes through the center. Your job is to write the equation of the circle.
So we'll just do the midpoint.
You just told me that in order to do that, you need the center and the radius. So the suggestion from the audience here is, let's find the midpoint. All right, we know how to do that. So our center will be -2 plus 4 divided by 2. 5 plus 7 divided by 2. Everybody's still with the program? So x minus 1 squared, y minus 6 squared equals something. So far, so good? Now, what are we missing? The radius. When you look at the picture, do you recognize that this is the radius? Or this is the radius? So if this is the point -25, and this is the point 47, and this is the point 16, how are we going to find our radius? The distance formula. So R equals, here we go. Does it matter whether I do this side or this side? I'll do these because they're all positive. So I have 4 minus 1 and 7 minus 6. X minus X, Y minus Y.
Doesn't matter if we're related.
Nope, because you're going to square it, so it doesn't make one single bit of difference. So what have I got? 9 plus 1, root 10?
Yep.
You okay? Now, what do I put in my equation? And remember, my job was to write the equation.
Just so.
What do I put here? 10. Because the equation is r squared. The equation is r squared. X squared, y squared, r squared. GTQ, guaranteed test question. All right, I'm going to stop blabbing for a minute. We're going to do a quick review because when you come back from lunch, we're going to take our first quizzy poo. Here's what you need to know for the quiz. be able to draw this on the number line. So what am I making sure you understand? Your interval notation. By the way, it won't be that question exactly. You are going to have to be able to sketch some interval. Okay? So what would that look like?
A closed circle and
The only number up there is 4. If you had 2 numbers, you'd plot them both. You only have one, it's a 4. That bracket tells you at 4 you're going to have a closed dot. The fact that you got the infinity in there tells you you're going one direction or the other forever.
Right.
Since it's a positive infinity, we're heading this way. Everybody good with that? You are also going to have to simplify something like this. Now remember, we talked about when we did this the other day, we said there's no one right way to start. You just got to do a bunch of stuff to it to get it simplified. So Jason, what is your first thought?
I'd like to put the -2 exponent into all the others.
Okay, so he's going to apply the -2 exponent, this exponent right here, to everything. Just don't forget the 2. So 2 to the -2nd. X to the what? 6. Because I'm going to multiply these two, right? Y to the -10. X to the -14 and y to the -6. I'm going to say it one more time. You don't have to start this way. This is an okay way to start. It's fine. All right. So Annie. Where's Annie?
Right here.
You guys switch places on me, but that's okay. You're good. I have a daughter named Anna, so I love the name Annie. I'm probably calling you a lot. Annie, what would you do next?
Move the negative exponents to the top and bottom.
Yep, take care of those negatives. Let's get them moved. So down comes the 2. This stays here. The y comes down. This goes up, and this goes up. Everybody okay with that? Now, Clara, we gotta put some stuff together, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
What happens here?
It's gonna be x to the 20th.
It sure is. And Hannah, what happens here?
Y to the 4th is on the bottom.
On the bottom. And also on the bottom, we have a 4. Any issues with that? Okay. Then the last thing that's going to be on the quiz as soon as you do this and we check it, you can go to lunch. And everybody doing it. Yes, ma'am.
For the last problem,
Yep.
would it be 4? Why is it not 4y to the -4? I always get confused.
Okay, I want you to think about this. The rest of you, you don't have to listen unless you think this pertains to you. You go ahead and work on those. But here's the deal. You're using your rules. You're subtracting exponents. And when you take 6 minus 10, you do get -4. But whenever you're using your properties of exponents, everything goes in the numerator. So when you added those, you got x to the 20th. When you subtracted those, you got y to the -4th.
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen to y to the -4th? It's going to go to the bottom and end up, that's why we have a y to the 4th on the bottom. But even bigger than that, visualize this. You have a fraction that has 6 y's on the top. and 10y's on the bottom. That's what this is. That's 6y's over 10y. Well, when you start canceling, where are the leftovers going to be? On the bottom. There's 4 of them left over on the bottom. How are we coming? Alright, I did that probably faster than I should have. I got root 58 for my distance. Everybody good? And my midpoint, I got 1.